So, the 5 mistakes that almost everyone makes when they're designing estate agent leaflets and flyers. This is the video accompaniment to the blog post. So, we're going to go over the 5 different points and we're going to lay them out in shorter detail than it is in the blog post. So, without further ado, let's get on to the first point. Issue number 1 is that you're not tracking where your leads are coming from. If on your leaflet you've just got the same phone number and email as on every other piece of marketing that you do, you're making a mistake. It's really simple this. If someone does get in contact with you, if you don't know where they're from, how can you know that you're spending your money in the right place? If you're just spending money and praying and hoping that it's going to work, you're losing out because you won't be able to optimize it and put more money into the forms of marketing which give you the best return and the highest quality forms of leads. So it's actually a really simple thing to fix. All we need is specific phone numbers and email addresses that still port forward to your office. So you only have to still have them in the one place, but you've got specific phone numbers and other forms of contact that allow you to track exactly who has found you and decided to contact you through your leafleting. Now, you can do this with other forms of marketing too, and we do recommend that you do that. But just for the sake of this video, for your leaflets, you should have specific phone numbers on that. Now, in the post, we do talk about things like CallRail, which is a piece of software that allows you to essentially track different phone numbers and work out where people have found you from. You should 100% implement this into your leaflets so that you can work out what is working. So on to point number 2. Point number 2, you're focusing too much on yourself. Your leaflet should not necessarily be you extolling your own virtues and talking about how great your company is. Instead, a much more effective and potent way of building trust and authority with a prospective client is by showing testimonials, case studies, and reviews. If you can put those 3 things of your agency into your leaflet, that's a great way of building trust with someone. So doing that instead of having a big photo of yourself on it is a much better way of showing that you're a trustworthy and reputable agency to be selling your house through. So please be client focused rather than you focused. It's a really easy trap to fall into. It's the natural approach that many people take when they don't think about it. So as long as you have this in mind when you're creating it, that you should be focused on their needs and not your own needs, you'll see a much greater success from it. So that's a really simple point. So let's go on to number 3. So point number 3 is that you are not hiring the correct professionals to do the job that you need them to do. You're an estate agent. Your time should be spent finding homes to sell and selling them to people. That is what you're trained in, that is what your profession is, and that's where your time is best spent to make you as much money as possible. So you should not be trying your hand at graphic design, at copywriting, at taking images of the properties or taking videos of them, when that's just not really in your speciality, is it? And that's not saying anything bad about these skills, it's just that there are other people who are a bit more time and cost effective and will do the job to a better standard. I do the same thing, so you might as well hire out people who are professional in these areas to make sure that your leaflet shows your company in the best possible way. Now, there are different ways we can do this at different budget points, and I'd outline that in the blog post. So without going into lots of detail about that, you can read that in the blog. But the general gist is that if you've got high budget, you can go and find the best people in your area and just spend on the best. And then you can still track using the first point whether that was bringing a return on investment. It's still not hit and hope because you can actually track it now. The middle level is to outsource and find people on like Fiverr or Upwork, find people who fit your job description and have good reviews. Or in the lower one, use a template. Those have still been designed by professionals, but they won't be necessarily bespoke to your business. But that's how you do it for each budget point. So on to point number 4. Point number 4, don't go for the kill on your first point of contact. So the first time that someone's getting an unsolicited piece of marketing material through their front door, they're pretty likely to ignore it. So if they've never heard of you before, or maybe they've walked past but never really taken it into account if you're a local estate agent, they're not really going to buy straight away. So why are you putting on just one headline of "sell your house with us"? They're not going to do it. It's just going to be a waste of money. So this still links in with point number 2 a lot. A much better way of approaching it would be to put in the reviews, put in the testimonials, put in the case studies to build trust, build a relationship in such a way where you're not necessarily going for the jugular straight away. That will immediately differentiate you from the competition because it's easy to do, to just put a headline on, put it out to everyone, hey, sell your house with us. Everyone's doing it because it's simple. It doesn't really get the results because imagine if this was in your house, would you necessarily respond to a flyer that immediately said, hey, sell your house with us, unless you were looking to sell your house tomorrow? You want to build the relationships with people so that you can get a long-term stream of high-quality leads And if you have it easy so that people can come and find you and get more information by, let's say, a website link, we can then retarget them through other forms of advertising once they have elected themselves as people who want more information. So we can build that into a more long-term strategy instead of just saying, buy from us now, buy from us now, buy from us now. Now, we still want those people to be able to contact us, and that's what the phone number and email are for, but we still want those other people who aren't necessarily ready yet to be able to nurture with your company rather than someone else. So that's point number 4. Let's get on to point number 5, which is actually my personal favorite one, is that you're not necessarily using other forms of advertising that would be more cost effective than leafleting. So this was actually how I got started in this business. Leafleting isn't necessarily the most cheap and cost-effective way of advertising to people, even though that almost seems stupid because it is so cheap to do. For the same kind of prices that you'd be looking at distribution, design, etc., you could put the same money into a Facebook ad. As long as you knew what you were doing with it, you could get in front of the right people, show them the correct message, the same kind of design that you were putting on the flyer, and get to them for cheaper. And as well, get to people who are actually still homeowners. So you get in front of the correct kind of people in your local area, still in that catchment area, just local advertising. You can then work out who's seen it, what demographic, what age range, how long they looked at it for, whether they actually clicked on it or just went straight past it. And then you're not wasting money in terms of people just getting flyers and binning it. You're just getting in front of the people who are actually going to look at it. And then if they're going to press learn more or something like that, or elect to learn more about your company, it's very easy to get in front of them again still. So using online methods of advertising to people, which is still in the same kind of price range as leafleting, is still very effective. Now, if you're skeptical about it, what I say is to test it out. So you can do this all completely yourself. All you need to do is get your leafleting campaign, which is still tracked in the way I said to do it before, and run a Facebook campaign alongside it. So if you're running both of them, you can then judge which one performs best by which one is generating you more leads. And you'll be able to know exactly where those leads are coming from because you've tracked them with different phone numbers and different email addresses and different ways of them coming in. And that way you can judge the quality of them, how many leads are coming in, look at the end of it after a couple of months and say, okay, maybe leafleting did perform better than Facebook, or this is more likely to happen, you go Facebook, it did better than leafleting. We see that all the time. It happens a lot better if you know what you're doing with it. So those are the 5 things that estate agents can do to improve their leafleting and marketing efforts. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to get in contact with me, please leave a comment. Please tell me what you thought of the video, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. You can also subscribe if you want to see more of our future posts. You can give your email to come onto our newsletter. So this is Ed Rizal from Estate Agent Marketing, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.